so that it starts to put his wrist here in an uncomfortable position. So there's that guard handle on his wrist. You can see how his wrist is twisting. And then I just push the sword straight up. And that from here can be a cut or just a disarm. Here, I catch the middle of the sword. I grab behind the blade, pull, and disarm. Cody, you want to try on me once?
Yes, sir.
There we go. And his hand. So as soon as I see that come back, I'm already coming in to jam the weapon. Okay. Now from here, I'm gonna step in, and I have to imagine he's probably still trying to hit me. So he's still coming at me. The pressure's already coming this way. It makes it real easy for me to step down here. And there's his elbow right here. I'm gonna raise my hips as I pull his arm down to break his elbow, and then I can disarm the sword. Okay, so now guys, what we're going to do is we're going to work on 4 really basic sword evasive maneuvers. So the first one is my opponent strikes straight down at my head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the way, out of the way and use my hand to check. So we call this opening the door. I think in most traditional sword schools or jujitsu schools, ninjutsu schools, they all call this opening the door. It's a very common move. I turn to the side like this and I'm going to check with my hand. So I can go to the inside here, or I can go to the outside, like this. Now, in many traditional schools, you'll notice that they'll take this hand that's not checking their hands, and they bring it behind them like this. What they're doing is they're making sure they don't go and get their hand cut off. However, I don't like to keep my hand all the way behind me, because I want to have this hand available so I can hit their hands, I can hit them, right? But I'm going to be aware that this hand isn't going to be sticking out here, but it's going to be back. But I'm still able to strike their hand or strike their face. It's important in this move that I move as the sword's coming. If he brings the sword up and I move too early, he'll be able to follow me and hit me. So as the sword's coming down, that's the timing of the technique. Okay, so now, Cody, I'm going to use you for the next move. So now, I'll come forward just a little bit more. So now, this next move, I'll have the sword to my side for the side cut, okay? And when I do the side cut, my opponent's just going to move back to escape. Ready? Just like that. Again, making sure your arms aren't hanging out, but kind of keeping your arms back as you move back. And we're going to kind of round our body like this to avoid the blade. It's important for these drills while you're beginning that you use a padded sword, or you use, I'm using a broken bamboo sword. A hard plastic sword would also work, but don't do anything that's going to get yourself, your legs cut off, especially on this next move. So the next move, I drop down. Now my opponent knows, or my partner knows, that this is going to be the jump, so now he jumps. Some of my students will do a jump roll with this one, but just a jump is fine also. The fourth technique, I bring my sword back here, and I swing towards his head, and he ducks. The more advanced version of this duck is to also roll away from the blade. Now we're going to take a look at 2 of my students, Cody and Caleb, as they practice this move in kind of a free-flowing motion. For this next exercise, we're going to work on an attack and defense drill. So one partner is going to attack with the sword and the other person is going to defend. This one is a free-flowing exercise, so it's not prearranged, and we're just free-flowing, utilizing some of the techniques that we already know. So Cody, Jay, I'm going to have you guys demonstrate this exercise. I'll step out of the way and let you guys go for it. All right, great job, you guys. So we like to say at Third Heaven Martial Arts that your training is limitless and that the martial arts are limitless. So what they did is they just did the techniques that they felt comfortable doing, or they did the techniques that they felt were the appropriate techniques at the time. But that doesn't mean that those have to be the techniques that you show me. So for that reason, we're not really going to take this one slow and show a bunch of techniques that you should do. Really what you just need to do is block and defend the sword coming at you. All right. Okay, so we've come to a really cool part in the curriculum. This is Shiken Mutadori Gata, and this is the sword evasion katas. And so these are pretty cool, some sword evasion techniques. So we're gonna get started. So this is our first technique from Hira no Kamae. Hira no Kamae is a posture where my arms are, is flat posture, my arms are generally out like this. But when I have someone with a sword, my partner Cody, he's going to have the sword up in Daijouda no Kamae, and I'm not going to offer my arms to make it easy for him to cut my arms off, okay? So even though it's a Hira no Kamae, the Hira no Kamae is a little bit in my mind, where I'm kind of making a posture that says, it's very big, like come get some kind is what I'm imagining. And when he comes to strike at me, I'm going to move back to a posture that we've also learned called Jun Nagash. And then from Jun Nagash, I'm going to do the roll, and I'm going to come up in a ready position. Now, as my opponent comes at me with the sword, first you come at me real slow, and he comes at me, we can see that I'm in line to get hit. And so the first thing I have to do is I have to move myself away out of the sword. So when I move myself here, I'm going to come this way, all right? And so I'm taking that step, protecting my arms, moving my body slightly back, making sure I'm not going to get hit, and then from there, I'm going to make my roll. The roll's going to come when he thrusts the sword at me. Now, when I come up from my roll, I come up in a ready position, just like this. I'm starting the technique, by the way, in Daijouda no Kamae with the sword. Using the shinai for safety. Now I'm going to step at Cody, who is in Hira no Kamae, and he's going to move back. As I come and get aggressive towards him and start to thrust, he'll roll. And then you can see that he comes up in the ready position. Forward and strike at Cody. Cody's in Hira no Kamae, although he does have his arms in. And I'm going to step forward and strike. He moves back, okay? You can see that he's out of the way of the sword right now. As I continue to make the thrust, he does the roll. So with Cody, we had to adjust the roll a little bit, where he's making it a little harder on himself, rolling over the other shoulder. But one thing also I want to mention is while we're doing these movements, the rolls, the cuts, everything, to make sure we're breathing, using proper breath work. One more time? Sure. All right, one more time. If there's ever been a technique on the curriculum so far that made me think, oh dang, that's some ninja stuff, this is it, right? This is fairly ninja stuff. So we're starting in Ichimunji no Kata, or Ichimunji no Kamae, I should say. So he's in Ichimunji, and the general Ichimunji is we're here like this in our hands out, and it's kind of our basic ready position. But what Cody's going to do is he's going to turn his hand in. So this kata, or this form, gets its name from this position, okay? Now let's go with the hand out. So his hand's out, and if I have the sword up overhead in Daijoda no Kamae, as I step forward and cut, you can see I hit his hand, okay? Now, because the sword has a curvature to it, as it's coming down like this, if he turns his hand in, like that, the appearance for me is that I still have an easy target here, and it looks the same as I'm standing back here. I certainly am not going to try to hit him in the head when I have such an easy target here. And so as I go for the cut now, you'll see as the cut comes, as he drops his weight, the sword misses him. I did touch your gi just a little bit. I touched his jacket a little tiny bit on that one. But let's try it again. Ready? So again, if I stay here, so you put the hand out, I come here and I'll hit him. But now, from here, if he turns the hand in, if he sits down, I miss. Whoa. So that is what I feel like a very cool kind of secret ninja technique. And then from there, this kata is kind of made up with a couple of different things. It's a really cool kata. Let's move on to the next technique now. Okay, now from this position, I already missed him in the Ichimunji position, right? And now he's going to do a forward roll to create some space, some distance between him and I. Now, if he was to roll at this angle here, can you come this way a little bit? Whack! I would have killed you. He's dead right there, right? So he's got to roll to create enough space or distance away from me, away from the sword, right? So we're here. And now he's going to roll. Now from his roll, now this is fairly unique, is he's going to have his knuckles on the ground, and he's going to have he's not looking directly at me. So he's not looking right at me, he's just here. He can see me in his peripheral vision, so he doesn't have to look right at me, okay? And from there, it's almost as if he's offering his head to me, because look, his head's right there. So my chance now is to come here and come right here for his head, all right? And so I think it's really cool how this whole thing is set up like this, right? So let's watch again, if we put this all together, and then there's still that final move that we're going to do. So we're kind of just breaking this down into 3 sections to kind of make it easier to follow. So we're here like this. He has the hand in. I feel like I can cut his hand off or his arm off, but he moves down, and that takes that away. Now he's going to roll. So now he has the distance. When he rolls, he has his knuckles on the floor. He's not looking at me, but he can see me. Just like right now, while I'm looking that way, I can still see you guys. Well, I can't see you guys because you're at home, you're watching this at home or whatever, but I can still see there's a camera there, right? So I see his neck, and now I come here for his neck. And now we'll go into the next technique. Now in the third movement, as my opponent is there on the ground, he's using his vision to see me, but he's not looking right at me. I have an easy target to just chop his head right off, but he also is aware that I'm coming at him, and so because he's aware, he's going to come and move at me and block and strike. Okay, now something unique with this here is from here, yes, he's striking. There may be different hand positions you can use to strike in vital areas and things like that. I mean, if someone had a sword, I'd probably strike him a little lower, but we don't want to practice that right now. So now from here, with this block, one thing is that he can rest his forearm and his hand on his head, tilt your head just slightly, boom, right about there, and he can use the strength of his head, his neck, his spine, everything in line, and his whole body to defend the block with the sword. And that's the end of the kata. However, because we have this here, I also question, if we could finish this with something a little different, because he struck me here. Maybe if he had a dagger or a blade in his hand, maybe that's the end, but if not, might not be the end. He could easily stand up from there and create some kind of submission or a disarm. And one of the reasons he's able to stand up from there is because of the pressure he has with his head. So from here like this is just like basic wrestling. In wrestling, I'm constantly telling people head control, head control, head control. This is just head control, but there's a sword involved, which is really cool to me. So he uses his whole body right now to stand up. Oh, he hit me Whoa, this is not part of the traditional kata. To me, it just seems like maybe we can stand up and also finish them from there. But the traditional kata, all the techniques now, are you ready? So this again gets its name from Jumanji, which is the traditional stance. Here we go. Okay, so this one, we're going to start in Jumanji. And so Jumanji is here, like this. And when he strikes down at me, I'm going to turn my body this way to move out of the way. Taisabaki, body movement, right? So this to me is really cool because I think I've done it so many times going here. I don't know that I've ever done it going this way before until I saw this in this part of the curriculum. And so that's kind of cool. So I'm moving here, and then I'm going to cover the sword here with this hand. By having my hand right here where the handle is, if he tries to come at me and continue swiping at me, he's not going to get it. I'm able to put some pressure on the sword. And then I'm going to come up with kind of like a shuto strike here, and I'm hitting him right down his center line. Okay, and then from there, I can come and disarm the sword with any disarm that you want to use. You want to try one? Okay, so here we go. All right, that was good. Okay, so again. Oh, it's my turn. Okay, so I'm in Jumanji. Come on, boom, hit there, hit here, and then I'm going to come from here, going for the disarm.